Now that's how you start a mother TV show. Pen pals, let's discuss Adolescence. Shannan E. Johnson here, CEO and head consultant at The Professional Pen, where we develop screenwriters from idea to pitch. Need help in your screenplay? Go to www.theprofessionalpen.com. This is an excellent show. It's an excellent show for several reasons. Some of those reasons are because it breaks rules, right? And we know here at The Professional Pen, we're always talking structure and we're always talking rules, but I don't talk to you about rules because you have to stick to them. I talk to you about rules so that you can know when you are breaking them. Now, if you want to go into a deep dive of these episodes, we're doing so in our academy right now. So just drop academy in the comments. Join us and we're going to talk about it. Right now, I'm just going to give you like my overall thoughts. One of those things is the Brits are always going to give you some good TV. Why? Because they're not afraid of uncomfortable conversations. Americans tend to be, don't talk about those things, especially in public, especially with people you care about. Don't talk about things that may ruffle the feathers of your friends or your family. And the Brits are like, nah, man, talk about it. Talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to make everybody uncomfortable in the middle of talking about it. I still might write something like this, but I have always wondered, where are the parents of young people who commit heinous crimes? What is their reaction or response? What is their life like after the fact? And Adolescence gives us a sneak peek in that. Now, because this show is produced / written / directed untraditionally, each episode shows us a different point of view of either the case or the people involved in the case. So the pilot is the arrest. The entire pilot is what happens when someone is arrested and accused of a crime. I'm not going to give you any spoilers here, so don't worry. Episode 2 is we need to be able to stick this arrest by finding the murder weapon. That matters because we need to understand why. So we have to try to talk to other people to understand why. What's the motive? Why would this person have possibly, allegedly committed this crime? Then we get to episode 3 and it's total character work. It is pure theater, literally, which we will talk about a little bit later. And it's just about the psychosis, the psychology, the mindset of the person who allegedly committed the crime. And then episode 4 is about how the parents / the family is dealing with the consequences and repercussions of the actions of their child, and how that shows up as guilt and shame, and how guilt and shame show up as anger. And so, when we do the Pixar formula, and I ask, what is the current emotional state of a character? And then I give you this feelings wheel. That's what I'm talking about, right? Someone who is presenting anger is not just angry. There is another emotion happening on the inside that is causing them to present in anger. Your job as the writer is to get down in there. Right? You got to therapize these characters, which is what our Who Am I character workbook will do for you. But you have to humanize these characters to figure out who they are, what they want, what their flaws are, what their biggest fears are, so that then you can figure out how they would present that on the screen. And this show does that beautifully. So I talked about theater earlier, and let me tell you what I mean. Usually when I'm talking about like what makes these mediums different, like how is theater different from TV, different from film, different from novels, etc., etc. And we always hear that TV and film are pushed by action, whereas theater is pushed by dialogue. Why? Because you're usually in one proscenium space, one flat space. It may be in the round. It may have some other shape. You're in one space. The set design doesn't change often. If you're in musical theater, you get more set designs, right? Because things are flying in. But when you're in straight theater, you're not looking for the distractions of things flying in every second, right? So you're just there to hear the conversation and go where the conversation takes you. That conversation takes you through your 2-act structure, because straight plays are usually told in two acts. It's not the action. You're not going to get to watch the person go rob house to house to house. They're going to talk about the fact that they robbed the house, or they're going to talk about the fact that they intend to rob a house. You're not going to physically see it, which is why when people then adapt plays to the screen, they either do not adapt it at all and just put the play on screen, because if not, now you're going to have to write more stuff. Why do you have to write more stuff? Because features are pushed by action. And so it's not as interesting to watch on screen. People just have a circular conversation, right? So sometimes people will then go, okay, let's adapt it, which means we have to write a little more because we want to physically see some of this stuff that people are talking about. Or they just go, no, we'll just put them on screen and let them talk about it and you'll like it or you won't, right? In Adolescence, because they're shooting every episode in one shot, yes, one shot, one take hold, okay? This is pure choreography on behalf of everybody, not just the director who is sitting in the director's chair. The camera operator is the one who's actually going through and getting all of the things and all of the angles. But it's choreography for lights, it's choreography for traffic, it's choreography for actors. Now, the Brits are known to be theater actors, so likely these people have done enough theater that they are cool with learning all of their lines for an entire episode. TV and film is usually not shot that way. As we've spoken before, people will usually only get sides for the day. That means the quarter or eighth or 2/8 or however many eighths of a page they're shooting that day, and that's all they have to remember that day. They don't have to remember 60 pages worth of information. These actors had to remember 60 pages worth of information, and they couldn't mess up, or they had to start the entire take over. The entire take means the top of the episode. You know what that means? Rehearsal. In TV and film, we usually don't get a lot of rehearsal. You know, multi-camera rehearses a little bit more because multi-camera is like theater, right? You get your 1 or 2 sets, you have your audience, and it's go. But in multi-camera comedy, because it's going to air later, it's not live, they can retake some moments if they need to, right? That's how you see all of those bloopers when you used to watch Martin or used to watch Fresh Prince, and sometimes they would show you bloopers because they did have to retake things. And you can do that in multi-camera television. In theater, you can't retake. You have to roll with the punches. If somebody says something wrong, goes to a mark at the wrong time, somebody forgets what they're supposed to be doing, you guys got to figure that thing out. Okay. And so that's what they had to do on here. So that's already brilliant because of the risk that they're taking. You know, that costs a lot of money if you have to start over again and again and again and again, which means they had to do enough rehearsal so they wouldn't have to start over again and again and again and again and again. But what I love about the fact that they did these in one take hold is that that means you literally have to travel from each destination with the character. There is no cut. So to take in one, to do one take means there's no cuts. So you can't jump. So, you know, when you're writing and you put cut to, that means jump from here to there. That means we're not going to see what happens in the middle of it. If you do one take, you don't get to cut. You don't get to jump. You don't get to see a murder and then jump to them being in court. We have to see how they got from standing over the dead body to being in the court. We will journey with them, which means you have to be in the same emotional space with them, no matter how uncomfortable it is, for the entire time. So this is not a spoiler. We already know that a young boy gets arrested in this television show. When he gets arrested, we ride with him all the way to the police station, the whole way. And you just have to feel it. You just have to deal with it. It just is what it is. But it also puts you in a position of being uncomfortable, of not knowing a lot about what's going on and trying to make your decisions quickly, because we don't get a normal. So you know how we talk about screenplay structure, you have your normal and then your inciting incident. We don't get a normal here. The inciting incident is that he gets arrested. We jump right into him being arrested, which means we don't know anything about him. So we don't have any preconceived notions. So we can't go, oh, he would do it or he wouldn't do it, because we don't know him at all. But that's the point. That is the choice that's being made. Go on the ride. This is well done. What are your thoughts? If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix right now. If you want to join the Academy, drop Academy down in the comments. We have live monthly screenwriting masterclasses, and we also take the time to just answer any questions that you have about your screenwriting journey. Happy writing!
And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com.
The professional pen.
I'm out.